It's August, the dog days of summer, but today wasn't very typical of the dog days of summer. It was really pretty nice out, pretty mild temperatures. Now it's actually starting to rain a little bit, and we're supposed to get a rainy day tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get this finished before the rain gets too bad. There's my favorite dog from the dog days of summer. But let me start here with Alyssa Craig onions. These guys have been drying out here on the drying rack, and they're just great. I mean, this guy here, I'm guessing that might be a 2-pound onion, but you can see the size of it. It's just huge, and there's a lot of big ones. Very nice crop of onions. And I've got potatoes over here in the grow house, which turned out to be a great space for some more drying. All I did was I found some extra screening and stapled it onto the railing there, and it's a perfect drying rack because it's covered and it's got the screening all around it, so that worked out pretty good. These are my mystery potatoes, so I can't remember the variety that I bought, and of course I haven't got a seed packet to go back to because they were seed potatoes, so oh well, maybe I'll figure it out next year when I see what they sell there. Chives are doing great, as always, all season long. And this is my second planting of brassicas. That's cabbage there and broccoli. They're doing pretty well. These Brussels sprouts, however, kind of disappointed in them. They're sprouting things, but they don't look like the Brussels sprouts that I'm used to, so I'm not sure what the deal is with these guys. Anyway, zucchini's been producing pretty well all season. You can see that guy right there. Right next to him is a summer squash, which also have been producing quite well this year. They're looking a little disheveled now. Got some kind of vine disease going on, but they're still producing, so that's not bad. And I can't even find a scallop squash in here anywhere, but they've been doing pretty well. Moving on to okra. This okra Perkins long pod has just been fantastic. I only have one row here, and lots and lots of pods coming off this guy. I can hardly keep ahead of it. Certainly one row is plenty for this variety because they're very prolific and nice handsome pods. They taste good too. Corn is almost done for the season. We've been eating quite a bit of corn. This is Golden Bantam, and got a few more ears yet left, but not too many. And it's been pretty good. There have been some spotty ears, but for the most part, been very, very good, and just very impressive how tall it is. That's a good 12 feet tall, I think. Here is my fall garden, really. I planted carrots, beets, radishes, and lettuce for a fall crop. And the regular crop of beets, you can see here, coming in very nice. They keep well in the ground. I've also finally eaten some of them. They have a great beet flavor, but they're albino, they're white, and so they're great with stir fries because they don't make all the other vegetables red. Here's Danvers half-long carrot. That's a pretty nice one. And then right next to that here is a smaller variety of carrot, a Thumbelina, I think they call it. I don't really like these stubby carrots, but they came free, and that one looks pretty good, so not too bad. Meanwhile, marigolds all over the place. The nice thing about planting marigolds is that when you get vacancies in your garden, you still have a nice flowering marigold going on all season long. Here's some more brassicas planted in the vacancies where the onions were, and two more down here where the potatoes were. We have one more crop of potatoes that's still in the ground. They're ready to go. I'll probably do them next week. A little bit of green left going on there. Yukon Gold. So that'll be fun if we get a good crop of them. It was nice that the So far, all the potatoes have been without any rodent damage, so that's kind of nice. Meanwhile, bed 4, this is, we've got this row of mixed peppers, and the peppers this year just are great. I finally got my varieties figured out. I kept calling these long Thai, but these are not long Thais. These are Korabachi. And the long Thais, actually, let me skip over here. The long Thais are these. And they should be called long tall Thais because they are very tall pepper plants and very bushy pepper plants. Really nice producers, but very impressive plants. And while we're on the subject of peppers, these are the Tequila Sunrise, which I did guess right at, but now you can see why they're called Tequila Sunrise. That lovely orange color, these are just fun. And rounding out the pepper category are the Ozark Giants, and we have gotten some nice giant size peppers off of these guys, and they also will turn red if you leave them long enough. Back again to tomatoes, and I don't know if you can see in there. Yeah, you can't really see her. Jessie likes to pick her own tomatoes. In fact, some of those on the ground might be ones that she picked. She likes tomatoes and she likes corn. These are San Marco, and they're coming in really nicely. But you can see that it's very dark under here because of the canopy of tomatoes we got going on here, and I like to just let them go. But it makes it a little difficult to harvest because the only way to do it is the way that Jessie was, which is crawling in the tunnel there and looking for your tomatoes. We've gotten a lot of them. Unfortunately, the birds also like the tomatoes, so that's what they do to tomatoes. But these are called Delicious, and they also get quite big. Very nice tomatoes. And that one is definitely ripe, but they're all over the place, hidden in the foliage here. Very nice variety. Skipping back to the third variety of tomatoes, we got these are Star Elini, and they're pretty nice too. But they had a kind of a leaf problem, and so they're exposed, and the birds are just going after them like crazy. That brings us to pole beans, and these are just magnificent, climbing up the structures and producing quite a few beans as well. But look at these guys, these yardlongs. I mean, what could be more fun than growing beans that are literally a yard long? You know, if you got kids, they can pretend they're eating snakes or ropes or whatever. But it's just fun growing these guys, and you want to have fun out in the garden, that's for sure. Just about a yard long, that guy. So these are lima beans. They'll be coming in a little bit later. And my scarlet runners have been producing a lot of scarlet blooms. Not as many beans yet, but they may come later. But very impressive. To have these towering structures in the garden. Those are probably 7 feet tall, I would say. Pretty nice. And I skipped over the eggplant, which are doing fine. Nice little light purple eggplants. Fun to grow, if for no other reason than the raw color itself. The rain's coming down a little harder now, so pick up the pace here. Melons doing fine, and you'll see all over the place we've got melons. There's 2 varieties right next to each other. Kind of neat. There's another nice one there. Hopefully will last until they mature and get some nice melons later this month. The ground cherries, Aunt Molly's ground cherries, have continued to be a source of treats for the gardener, and also finally got enough to bring them inside and share with Mrs. Perkins. So that's nice. And that brings us to winter squash, which has been a problem. All my late long vining plants have been a problem. You can see I've got lots of winter squash. These are the acorns. These are Blue Hubbard. But these Blue Hubbard are tiny. They're supposed to get huge. And you can see how the vines have just died back almost completely. Lots of nice Waltham butternuts. And these are the Australian butter is the variety that kind of look like a hat box. Kind of neat looking. Don't know how they'll taste. But anyway, we got a lot of winter squash, but the vines are dying prematurely, so we'll be harvesting those pretty soon. Well, it's getting kind of rainy out here. I pretty much showed you all there is to show you. We could go out to the mini orchard. Very few apples this year, some Granny Smiths, but there's a lot of peaches out there. I'll do a clip of those if they get promising, because they'll probably be done before we get to the September video. Alright, I'm interjecting here because in my haste to get done before the rains came, I forgot a couple things. This is the external winter squash and pumpkins that we have planted outside the garden, and they're doing pretty well. This is a rumbo squash, good size, and the vines are also not dying as much as the ones in the garden proper. That's another rumbo. And we also have a fair amount of Connecticut field pumpkins. You can hear me sloshing through the puddles here because the rain has subsided for a little bit, but it should be coming back. But anyway, we even have some brand new winter squash coming in on some of these vines, so they're doing pretty well, and that's always a good thing. So we'll see how they do. And the other thing I neglected to talk about was the sweet potatoes here at the end of bed 1, and they're doing just fine. You can see they've completely taken over this end of the bed, and if you look down here closely, you can actually see sweet potatoes starting to form. So we're in high hopes that we're going to have some good sweet potatoes to harvest come about the first frost. Alright, now we can go back to the original footage. That's going to do it. The rain's coming down pretty good now. It's supposed to be a complete washout tomorrow. I got to get these onions and peppers bagged and inside before it gets too late here, and hopefully we'll still have enough time to kind of sit under the umbrella and have our evening zen quiet time with a little drink, which I guess isn't very zen, but that's the way it goes. But that's going to do it. August 2011, Marvin Gardens, and we'll see you next time in September when we start the harvest season. So that's going to do it for now. We will see you next time. Right, Jesse? Bye, y'all.